So once you get your traps dyed, if you're doing a dyeing and waxing sequence, and the next sequence obviously is to wax. Now you don't necessarily have to wax, but you can also, some people wax and they don't dye. So the wax, you buy it in little 1 pound blocks like this from any Trapper Supply place. It's odorless trap wax. And the wax is going to seal in any scent that's on the trap. It's going to make your trap quicker, and it's also going to help protect your trap from the elements. And you want to treat this wax like you treat your clean traps. You want to keep it away from any scent, and the best thing to do is have a pot devoted strictly to wax. So you see I've got this pot here. It's just an old camp pot, and it's got nothing but wax in it. And to get the best results, you need a pot full of wax that you can completely submerge the trap. Now obviously that's going to take several of these to get started, but once you get them, that wax lasts a pretty long time. So it may take 8 pounds of wax to fill that up, but then year after next you might have to add 1 pound or 2 pounds and it'll be good to go. But anyway, so you've got to heat your wax up to get it liquid form. So that's what I've got here. Now you got to keep in mind wax is flammable. Always keep a lid, keep a sheet of plywood, something that you can cover it. You don't want it to get too hot. So it's kind of very slightly bubbling. I just turned it down. But what you're going to do is you're just going to take your traps 1 or 2 at a time, and you just want to get a nice light even coat of wax. So I'm going to take my trap, dip it in, and just let it sit. Now this pot's big enough I could probably put 2, maybe 3, but I just like to make sure that I get a good coat all the way around. Let it sit in there, let the trap kind of get the same temperature as the wax, and then you're going to ease it back out. And that's all there is to it. It's quick and easy. The biggest hang up is waiting on your pot of wax to melt. So then I'll leave it in there. Like I say, it don't take long. And just ease it out, let it drip off. Keep in mind now you got that wax dripping off, you've got open flame, so that is, it is flammable. But I'm going to let that drip, and then I'm going to take it over here and hang it up. And you won't hardly see the wax afterwards. And these are clean traps. I've just got a piece of wire looped through the swivel, so when they dry and I'm done, I can put them in my trapping bucket and just slip it right out and never have to touch them. And I say, it's best to get the best coating dipping them by themselves, dipping the entire trap. Some people will take and put a couple blocks of that wax on top of their dye, their pot of dye, and that way as they pull the trap out, it'll come through that wax and get some wax on it. And that does work, but if you want to get a good coating of wax, the best thing to do is to do a pot all by itself. One thing particular, if you're in the South, just keeping with the watching your scent, is you can find where some sap or some rosin's coming out of a pine tree where it's got maybe a canker or a wound, and just shave off a little bit of that with your knife, throw it in there with your wax. I mean, pine trees down here in the South are everywhere you turn you can see behind me. So that's in my opinion, that's a good kind of scent neutralizer. That pine scent is not gonna alarm any animals. But like I said, it's a fairly quick process. You need a turkey fryer or some way to heat your wax up. And the biggest hold up is waiting on your wax to melt. Once it melts, dip them, a couple minutes a piece, hang them, and they're ready to go on the trap line.